Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and on and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Blood, Coin, and Steel some more. I did a little bit of work on this last night, just a smidge. I did the hard part. You may be wondering, saying, Notepad, that sounds like you cucked us out of some good old-fashioned fun. Yeah, I did this. Pretty much every single thing kind of got placed into it. It is an alphabetical order, as in it goes like this, like down, down. Will it look perfect on a page? Maybe not. There's obviously going to be some images, things like right here, for example. But generally speaking, all of this has been, in one way or another, been set up to be easier to read, a little bit simpler, a little bit nicer, just to make sure that everything works nicely. Now, before I go, what I'm going to do is just hit this button a few times on all of these, just to make sure that everything is... that every single thing I want is exactly the way I want it. I did quite a few of these last night. There were quite a few of them. I did do. So, parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah, this is literally all I did last night. I listened to people talk, got a little bit annoyed with some people, and I worked on this beautiful nightmare. Generally speaking, it turned out pretty alright. I think everything about this looks pretty nice. There's some that looks a little bit funky, mostly when you get things like this. A lot of these little bits and pieces. Technically, I should change every instance of check to a trial. You know, just this little things like that I'm probably going to have to go into and just double check. There's nothing fun about it. It's literally just going to be me like looking through, being like, this looks right, this doesn't look right, this looks right, this doesn't look right. It's just going to take some time. These are all from the... Every single one of these is actually from the core book. None of them are actually from Saga of Blood, Iron, and Soil, because the ones that are from Saga of Blood, Iron, and Soil are very particular to Blood, Iron, and Soil. So I don't want to bring them over for something that isn't the most appropriate thing in the world. That's just kind of my compromise. But there's still quite a few of these, for lack of a better word, there's quite a few of these. And they all are available for any character to take. That's always been kind of my thing with this game. Is like, yeah, anything you want to take here, you have full right to do such. So you can have some kind of weirder characters who are a mixture of things. Like, yeah, I have a power... Like, yeah, I'm a power couple with my wife whom I despise. Like, I just despise my wife, but because I despise my wife, we understand how things are going. I get it, you get it, we all get it. I could give a shit, I could give less of a shit about you. However, we're gonna make it to the top of this fucking food chain together, whether we like it or not. I do think that's kind of has some interesting dynamics when it comes to character creation. It's like, yeah, you can make characters that maybe aren't the friendliest with one another, but all can be a little bit more wonky in that regard. But I changed some, like Knight Errant instead of Hedge Knight, because a lot of this is from Game of Thrones, hence why some of them have some stranger wording to them. But that's kind of the that's the nature of the beast, mostly because that's just what this game was. Let's do one together. Checking, like I've got my hand in a weird place. That's why things look a little bit slow. I'm just double checking everything. There we are. This one's getting a little bit changed because I might change how blocking works, so I want to keep the wording correct. Angband. This is Angbad. This is what you're referring to as. This is Angbad right here. Angbad. Or Angband, technically. But if you type in Angbad, it's going to show up anyway. The Lord of the Rings. We were talking about various. We were talking about various games D&D inspired, and Angband, one of the original roguelikes, was kind of one of them. Hello, Kalukale. Good morning. Swap the center to justify text. Like, one of the issue with the I'm still not entirely positive how I want to do the justification of text, because it looks a little goofy on some of them. Like, here it looks fine, but some of them just look a little bit funky, mostly when you got these. I think I like the centering on them, because it gives them a little bit more, like, everything is just like these little cards. I don't know, that's just me. I'll throw it at one of my graphic designers I'll throw it at my graphic design monkeys and have them tell me it's shit or great. Because I am a genius, I'm just not a graphic design genius. The way that this is done, by the way, for those curious, all of these are in various tables like this, just arranged. That's why some of them feel a little bit odd, is because, like, Servant Lover couldn't be put down here unless I split it in half, and I didn't want to do that. I could probably move skill benefits into their own category. It got fucked up because Famous was here. That's literally the only reason. It got fucked up because Famous. But yeah, that is pretty much every single one of the various drawbacks and benefits. Kind of the main, how do I want to work? These were always kind of the main meat of things, if that makes sense. Like, you know, doing this correctly was always like, yeah, if you do things right here, you're having a lot more fun than if you weren't. Also because this is where your character really shined. Like, yeah, you have a lot more going on with your character than just a bunch of stats, which was kind of always the goal in that regard. Let's see. We can actually do improvements, training, and wisdom. Got a lot to do today, though. I'm getting a ping. Who's pinging me? Why are you pinging me? Ooh, let me just readjust my life here. There we go. But let's get down to business. Also, before I forget, thank you very much to Ryan Berry 1984 and Ty2Z or Tights Ty2Z Ty-Z. I don't know how you pronounce that, so I'm just going to call you Tights from now on. Hello, Tights. Excusez-moi. Oh, God. Ooh. Sneezy boy. I'm sneezy. I'm sneeding, everybody. I'm literally sneeding. Formerly Chucks. But yes. Okay. Yeah, cool. Let me just... 3, 2, 1. Ooh, that's not how... Ah, there we are. 3. Let me just... Ow. Let me just... Ooh. Ooh. So, let's see. So, improvement, training, and wisdom. Characters are not stagnant. So, we're going to do this. We're gonna put you, make you a new that, put you right there, heading, not heading 1, heading 2. Characters are not stagnant. Characters are not. Oh. The worst part is I have something in my nose and I'm gonna be sneezing here in a second. I feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I'm gonna sneeze. Characters are not stagnant. They are time as in. Characters are not stagnant. Their time as an active character in the chronicle. Let's see. Characters are not stagnant. Time as an active character in the chronicle of their time of the chronicle will change them at a fundamental level. While their non-active peers may seem to drift through life normally. Normally, they will experience rapid growths in development and skill. However, time is always the looming dread. The kindest of children become the cruelest of tyrants. And the weakest of warriors die as paragons of the battlefield. There we go. At the end of every year, or 4 seasons, the characters will all active characters are given 5, 10, or 15, actually 5, 10, or 20 glory to spend on their development. This can be split between either themselves or their chosen group or their chosen family. The amount of glory. Actually, we can make this a side note. We can do side note glory economy. Actually, did I cover this a little bit better in here? Bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 da. No, I literally just copied it. Fucking paste for paste. All right, cool. Side note: spending amount of glory for faster paced games. For faster paced games may not cover years or maybe only 1 or 2 generations. At the end of each season, actually I should say rapid fire glory, awarded 5 or 10 glory to spend on themselves or their group, depending on what was accomplished during the season. These accomplishments can range from minor boons to drastic changes in the storyline or the character's personal narrative. The glory represents not only the character's innate growth as a person, but their growth as their growth as a protagonist. the growth as a protagonist. Even the most peerless. Because one of the weird dynamics in BCS was always the fact that. Okay, now I'm back online on Steam. Why? Okay. Hello. Yes. Happy to be hanging out. Cheers. Yes. Hello. Hello, Kaluk Clay. Oh God, that's not how my back's supposed to sound. Generally speaking, like what I wanted to do here was, if you invest a lot in yourself, like if the character invests a lot of points in themselves or being like really they're trying to develop themselves more than anything, the problem happens when you die. Because all of that kind of personal glory and personal investment doesn't transfer over to the next character at all. Would it? It's a completely different character. You've invested so much in yourself, you never really thought about it kind of investing long term. That's why investing long term is a lot more, you're thinking farther ahead, but you, the character, may not be doing as well. So it's one of those things where I want to have that good balance where, like, if you're a very young child, you may be wanting to invest more glory in yourself. Like, hey, I'm 16 years old. I've just, kind of started being a protagonist. I'm going to develop a lot faster. I'm going to get a shit ton of experience. I'm going to be really strong. I'm going to be really good. But then you hit your 30s or your 40s. And then you start thinking a little bit more like, I need to start investing not in myself as much. I need to start investing in my family. I want to invest more in my land. I want to invest more in my people. I want to invest in something that's going to outlive me. But you always are tempted to spend it on yourself. Well, of course, I'm this peerless warrior on the battlefield. I can invest a few more points into myself. I'm the one keeping the entire group alive every combat we're in. I am the one leading our troops into battle. I am the one keeping us all alive. And suddenly you take a knife in the back, or you fall down some stairs. What happens when you fall down some stairs when it was the wife who fucking despises you pushed you down them? Doesn't matter how much of a peerless fucking warrior you are, you tumbled down four flights of stone stairs. You're on your ass there, you can barely think, then she comes over and hits you with a fucking axe. It's like, oh, all those points in being this awesome warrior doesn't really mean jack shit when 8 different characters were conspiring my graphic death. Oh no. Oh no, he says. I'm but a fool. Let's think. Glory 9, 8 growth. Boom, the growth as a protagonist. Being young. Being young and full of life. The character may then develop themselves into a peerless individual. But the older they grow, and the older they grow, the more of that glory invested into their legacy. Oh God, it's always bad. I know, I want to sneeze. I want to, give me 1 second. You know when you just want to just cough but you can't, or you want to sneeze but you can't? That's me right now. No idea why. It sells not just sells, sounds like tournament versus survival thought process. One is always about finding a new edge now, while the other is constantly thinking long term. Exactly. And that was like one of the, that was always kind of like one of the big issues in the original game, was there was no reason in the original Ice and Fire role-playing game to ever not be peerless, because there was no legacy. You never really had the idea that you were going to pass on anything. It was just like, just be as cool as you physically can at all points. And because of that, it's like characters could very easily become very broken, suggesting you didn't just make a broken character to begin with. Such as, again, the most optimal set of characters in the most optimal character type was effectively playing Master Blaster. That's just how you played Game of Thrones, the Green Ronin RPG anyway. We'll bring up Master Blaster for everyone to understand, like this is just who you played. Like, this is just the character you played. One player would play an absolute brick of a man. You would bump up your endurance, you'd bump up all your combat stats to become an absolute meat machine. But you would usually make yourself dumb as shit, because you didn't need to be smart. You didn't need to be good at anything else. You needed to be good at swinging a sword and instantly decapitating the best warriors in Westeros. But then you had usually one other character be the intrigue guy, who was so good at being intrigue guy, he could very easily just win every intrigue by virtue of just rolling more dice. And it was never 1 or 2 dice. Oh no, you would be able to get up to 6 or 7 if you knew what you were doing, which was insane, by the way. So you would literally just have your brick shithouse bodyguard follow you everywhere. You know, peasant man carrying, you know, Mr. Noble dwarf, you know, fucking invalid who cannot actually move on his own volition, but he can legitimately outsmart, outwit, outtalk, out everything else, every other character. It was great. No, not the D20 one. The Green Ronin variant. This is the Green Ronin variant. This one's fairly old at this point. It's been around quite a while. This is, fun fact, this is like, you're probably thinking of the old D20 variant, which was weird and bad in its own beautiful disaster piece of a way. But like, this game was so funky because it was... Green Ronin is a funky company. Like, this is an important thing. Green Ronin is such a weird fucking company. And this, like, everything was before, like, they were having to make a bunch of deductions on things before even, like, they had various, like, character, you know, the books weren't finished yet. You know, the show wasn't even thought of by when this was coming out. So you would have weird moments where they would have to design things just because they had to, such as the entirety of the White Walkers. Like, White Walkers and Whites were really weird. Because just, you know, it was like, because there wasn't really anything on them. There was like the King of the North, like the true King of the North, who was like King of the White Walkers, who was like fucking bonkers, and if you were ever in his vague vicinity, he'd kill you. This was an adventure path, a pretty good adventure path, mind you, like, relatively speaking. This was, when they say Chronicle Starter, they're lying to you, by the way. If you ever want something weird, this was legitimately a book about just like various time periods to start. And like a situation being like, you can start here and then do this. There really wasn't any rules in it, but they couldn't really do anything else because nothing's really detailed. Let me see if I can find. There was the Night's Watch. This was in the Night's Watch book. The Night's Watch book is legitimately better than the main game. It is so fucking cool. It's really neat, and like... Wait, isn't that just the dwarf dude from Game of Thrones? Literally, yeah, you can literally just make everyone can be better at Tyrion than Tyrion. Because they stat out all the major characters. That's the funny thing. They stat every major character out. And none of them are statted well. Like, that's the funny thing. You think like, oh, Jaime Lannister is like described frequently as probably one of the best fighters in the entirety of Westeros. Like, oh, like, here's like the entire thing of like, he's like one of the best fighters in Westeros. He only has a fighting of like 5. But that's supposedly in setting and in system really, really good. He has like this insane bonus and he's really good with longswords. You make a battle axe character, you can easily be rolling 9d6 for every single attack. This isn't dealing with the fact that you can take like a bonus ability for like axe wielder or whatever and get double attacks and instantly maim him every round. Who the fuck are you, Kofi Streambot? What the fuck? Huh? I'll have you all know, I did not invite Kofi Streambot to this. I guess a new bot just dropped. That's cool. Go visit my Kofi page. Cool. No, I didn't invite Kofi Streambot. I've never invited them. That's new. Like, what? Literally, to give you an idea, the Kofi Streambot has had 2 messages. One was from over a year and a half ago saying, "We're connected." And it just said, "Hey, you can visit it now." Kofi, for those who don't know, agree and continue. Of course, it's fucking. Kofi is pretty much like a one and done kind of thing. It's like you have the full, like, if you want to, you can. It's funny they have streaming now. I don't know what happened here, by the way. No fucking clue. Effectively, if you just want to do a one-time donation, feel free to just put it on here if you want. Like that, it's like you can just do like a $1 or $2 fucking, donation. That's fine by me. That's all Kofi is. I set one up for bribery. I'm not lying. I just set one up for pure bribery purposes. Where if you want to influence the vote, you can by just voting. There you go. But yeah, no, this was this was fucking Guardians of the Order, this old one. The old D20 variant was Guardians of the Order, Jesus. Yeah, so they just lost it. It's a D20. It's a D20. It's a tri-stat version. There's a tri-stat. There's a D20 variant. Oh, this is some. Oh, we're dealing with some fucking Kino right here, boys. I'll have to find. I have to try to find this one. But yeah, no. The original Song of Ice and Fire game is really weird. What the fuck is Kofi? Turns out it's not his bot, just a dude linking people's Kofis. He gets off on it somehow. Weeb Patreon, 1945 goal. What scam are you running? Kofi actually takes 0% out. That's the big thing. Everyone, Yosemite Mike, everyone did D20 stuff back in the day. You gotta remember that. It's not really Weeb Patreon. It's more like how the fuck do they make money? They believe they run ads and they take a cut if you They don't take a cut on donations. They take a cut if you do other things, though. And they offer a lot of other little services. And if you want to get, like, really anywhere, you have to do for Ko-fi Plus. That's kind of the big thing, is like, oh, here's Ko-fi Plus. I mean, I literally use it for bribery purposes. If you donate money onto that thing and you type in, I want this game, give 50 vote, if you put in $50, if you put in, give me 50 United States dollary dues and say, please do a case on my favorite game, you can. Besm D20 was just bad. Besm D20 was a mistake, but it's hysterical about Anime 5e because of it. Anime 5e is fucking astounding. I think it is the most interesting thing I have ever read. Because it is so weird. Because quite literally, Anime 5e is Besm D20 2. It is also the 5th edition of, technically the 5th edition of Big Eye Small Mouth. And the 5th that uses the 5th edition SRD. Or I guess it would be OGL at that point. But it really kind of does its own thing. Anime 5e is interesting. Also, to answer your question, weren't there entire websites dedicated talking about the lore of the other years of A Song of Ice and Fire? Yes, there were. There is the entire wiki of talking about other places. Let me just do SO's Song of Ice and Fire wiki. A wiki of Ice and Fire. But just to kind of give you the idea, like, this is the entirety of, like, the Kingdom of Sarnor. It's a bunch of bullshit, and if you, like, oh, what are the references? What's the references on the Kingdom of Sarnor? Like, a bunch of, like, world books he wrote, and just, like, random bullshit. Like, that is 95% of... To give you an idea, 95% of actual lore on Game of Thrones is just bullshit. Just complete and utter bullshit. He's just bullshitting you. Because the thing they do that I absolutely hate, they don't make things realistically. That's kind of a weird thing of saying. It's not like, oh, here's 300 AC. No, they don't talk about 300 AC. No. 12,000 BC, before the coming of men. And then they start from there, literally at the dawn of time. And it's, you get shit like, where was, like, here's Aegon's conquest. This is detailed, but they don't really talk about other things. They'll, like, do these big skips. Yeah, like, this is like, oh, it's the year of the stranger. 40 years later. It's Jaehaerys some more. They got the multiple Blackfire rebellions. Fucking Blackfires. Where was the one? Where's the one that you always end up with, like, weird, like... The Conquest of Dorne is stupid, by the way. I want everyone to remember that. Dorne is fucking George R.R. Martin's fetish. That's a shame. I was thinking of buying that. Anime 5e is just interesting. Like, if you can find a funny copy, take a look at it. I will say this about Anime 5e. It's really interesting if you are interested in 5e, if that makes sense. Because what they do is they strip away so many aspects of that game. And then you look at it and it's like, what does a rogue actually do? And they give you all the things a rogue can do, because it's really just a giant toolbox Like, that's all Anime 5e is. It's a giant toolbox for you to do shit in. It's like, how do I make my own class? Well, here are the 1,000 options to make your own class. How do I make my own race? Here are the 1,000 options to make your own race. Not really like a traditional source book, but it's interesting to read. I wouldn't recommend buying it, or at least if you do want to buy it, get it on sale as like a PDF. Again, if you're really interested in 5e, it's an interesting read. Song of Ice and Fire lore be like 1,000 years ago, Lord Smurfenglot shit himself for 30 days straight, killing all his children with a rancid smell, and leading to the creation of the Shittentuda dynasty. Like, I thought it was Random Death and Mudcore JR's. Yes, J.R.R. Tolkien, no, good old George R.R. Martin likes three things in life. He likes mudcore bullshit. He likes just people suffering. He likes just, how do I want to word it? He likes rape. That's okay. That's the only way I can really say it. He likes rape. There's a weird amount of it. Like, that's the thing. There's a weird amount of it, and it's like every character to display that they're a bad person is a rapist. Every single one of them. Characters who are like, female characters who are in a bad situation usually are threatened with rape. It's so like, okay, that's kind of weird. Please don't, like, let's keep that over there. Okay, let's just keep that over there. And he loves Dorne. Like, that's the thing. He loves Dorne. And he fetishizes Dorne. Because Dorne's the southern kingdom. Dorne is the exotic kingdom of the totally not Muslims. But they aren't Muslims. They're the brave and heroic people. They believe in all the good things, and they're all nice and cultured and shit. Like, they're, like, everyone else you can, like, reasonably assume. I thought Dorne was, I wouldn't really call it Spain. It's like, picture Spain and, actually, it's Umayyad Spain, if that makes sense. It is very, kind of has that very similar, vibe to things. It's like, oh, it's Moorish Spain, that's what I'm thinking, not Umayyad. But yeah, kind of like Moorish Spain, Granada. The Granada, the Emirate of Granada, kind of that southern Spain, like, ooh, we're all mysterious. And it's a matriarchy. Like, that's another big thing. It's a matriarchy, technically, because women are able to inherit. Women have the same value of inheritance as men, but all the Dornish people are weird because of that. They also have fucking Darkstar in there. They have fucking Darkstar. Let me bring up Darkstar. He's one of those characters that get, like, it's so fucking easy to meme. Welcome to Gerald Dane. Fucking Darkstar. Literally, that's his name, is Gerald Dane, and his full thing is Darkstar. And he's just this dickhead. He's like, yeah, I'm super cool. Look at me and my super cool sword. That's super cool. I have the legendary super sword, Darkstar. I get it. Like, he's like a major plot point. Like, the funny thing, it's a major plot point that he thwarts a minor plot point. That's the funniest part, because that's just fucking Gerald Dane. Also, the fuck is Darkstar? Like, the thing is, like, the entire, like, one of the big plot points of the Moors, not the Moors, the fucking, Dornish, is that they're trying to get, spoiler warning everyone, I guess, for fucking Game of Thrones, They're trying to get Marcella, pretty much the one daughter of Robert, even though it's not really a fun fact. They want to give her on the throne, so they're literally trying to launch a coup to put her in position. While also, hello, Reverend Bo 578, thank you very much for following. So they're like getting Ariane, I think her name is. I'm trying to remember this shit at the top of my head. She like assembles this crew of people to like we're gonna overthrow the government and install Marcella as Queen of Forever, and she'll be like a Dornish princess. She's gonna marry a Dornish boy, and it'll be awesome because then it will be like our government on there. They're just but all of them are just thwarted by Darkstar because Darkstar's super cool. It's like 2 fucking chapters and then Marcella dies. It's like, cool. Like, that's what's happening now. Dorne, everyone just dies because sadness. Dorne is just one of those weird kingdoms that the more you look at it, the more you're like, this is so fucking weird. But they are literally the Mary Sues of the setting. So much shit happens because the Dorne are just too cool and everyone loves the Dornish. And it's like, man, we tried to conquer the Dornish once, but we were thwarted because they ran to the hills. And they were like, they defended themselves and they killed a dragon, because that's like a big thing. They're one of the ones who killed one of the original dragons by shooting it with a ballista, and they killed it, and she crashed into a castle and was like, damn. It's like, Zam, that sucks. But we can also cross the entirety of Dorne in like a day, but also it takes months. Man, remember when people say, like Yosemite, you're kind of pointing out like one of the bigger issues with that, kind of Lubu and McDrewsalt even. Like, Game of Thrones is one of those books. It's kind of like Harry Potter in a way. Like, you read it the first time and you're like, wow, this is really good. But then you think about it more and you're like, wait a fucking second, that's terrible. Why would anyone, that's awful. Harry Potter kind of gets away with it, you know, to stretch his legs a little bit, you could say, because it's a book for children. Like, it's a book for kids and teens. George R.R. Martin just kind of writes things dramatically with no sense of scale. Like, there have been Starks in the hold of Winterfell for literal centuries. Literal, hundreds of years. And even beyond that, 1,000 years almost. Beyond that, there has been a Stark in there. And if you really, like, follow the fucking trail up, they'll have, like, 2 kids. And that's, like, a big thing, is that the Karstarks are around, which are like the Starks, but they're another family of it. It's like, what? Like, noble houses barely lasted, like, a couple decades in reality. Like, and one of the big things is, like, all of this is based off the War of the Roses, but, like, the War of the Roses has a very specific context behind it, and everyone died. Or it's like, hey, the dragons are completely unkillable death machines until they're not. Like, that's the funny thing, Yosemite Mike. The dragons are these unkillable demigods that the only way to ever kill one is either you luck out or you have a MacGuffin. We have the dragon splitting bolts. We have the power of, magic. We have another fucking dragon. But then other times they just die. Like, someone goes up there with a sword and stabs one. It is canonical, mind you, during the Dance with Dragons, a bunch of peasants stormed the dragon pits and killed a bunch of dragons. That's just canon. A bunch of peasants ran it in there and they started stabbing a bunch of fucking dragons to death. That's just how it happened. It's like, what? Like, hell, you had the carlings, they only lasted, what, a few generations. So how the fuck did they feed this damn flying? We're not even talking about scale, Lubu. Like, some of these dragons, like, fuck, Drogon? No, not Drogon. Like, Aegon's original dragon was comically huge. Like, massive. But then you have the other dragons which weren't as big, but they were bigger-ish. And then you have, like, little tiny dragons. I wonder if I can find... I haven't watched House of Dragons, so cut me some slack here, everyone, if I don't remember my Dance with Dragons lore. No, it's, actually, I know it. This is the grand fucking campaign. Not Maegor. Maegor dies in a stupid way. Viserys, his entire rule is... Like, to give you an idea, like, this is the Dance with like... Everything goes wrong for everyone in this setting. It is comically stupid that everyone is just bad. Everyone dies, the Dance with Dragons. To give you an idea, during this time, there were multiple dragons born. There were dozens of dragons at this point. Some of them were called Tessarian, Vhagar, Dreamfire, Sunfire, Syrax. Many people die, of course, which lead to Aegon II, which led to notable deaths. Arax, Rhaenys, Melis, Stormcloud, Jaehaerys, Aemon, Daemon, Maelor, Dreamfire, Morgul, Tessarion, Vermax, Rhaema, Syrax, Moondancer, Vhagar, Vero, Sunfire. Like, the actual dragon fights during the Dance with Dragons is such a shit show. Actually, let me see. Like, because to give you, again, this is a scale thing. These dragons are not small. Like, these are not, like, small creatures. And, like, that is a person on there. I want you to remember, just to kind of give you the scale of things. That is a person. And you say, how do dragon riders fight? Legitimately, the way dragon riders fight one another is they ride around, the dragons deathlock one another, you climb on their other dragon, you stab the rider, you stab the dragon, you hop back on your dragon before you both crash into the ground and die. That's how dragons fight in setting. It's completely insane. It makes no fucking sense. But everyone does it, because every single character in Game of Thrones is a fucking idiot. Notable death, everyone. Would we just have your dragons eat the other rider? Well, the thing is like, your dragon is fighting their dragon. So, and it's like, because they're literally deathlocking one another and plummeting to the ground. Like, that's like one of the big things that actually occurs with one of the fights, is that these two dragons and riders are so equally matched that both of them die because they just crash face first into the fucking ground. Neither of them break off, neither of them win, everyone dies as they just slam into the ground. Like, I want you to imagine, just imagine, you're like some knight in shining armor, you're in the ground, you're covered in fucking mud and blood, you stabbed a peasant to death, like, alright guys, we can totally win this. They are dragons in the air. We're gonna do this. Go team, go team, go team. And you kill another peasant, and you just see them spiraling toward you. Rapidly spiraling toward you. And you're like, they're getting pretty close. Stab another peasant. They're getting a little close. And they just keep spiraling, and you're like, oh, this is too close now. And you just hear him just plap, just slam into the ground. The area shakes. Everyone just looks in horror as two mangled bodies of giant fire-breathing lizards. The dragon's deathlock or my dying on, like, they just deathlock and slam into the hill. Everyone dies. It's like, holy shit. You know, it's one of those things you look at that being like, you know what? Maybe this war isn't worth fighting. Maybe we don't deserve to be happy, okay? Maybe we should just leave. Like, I don't... Well, a fucking dragon just fell out of the air, exploded into gore. Our, like, king is... Our, like, guy leading our army has been reduced to ash. That explains why there was no dragons left. Yes, that's actually, like, a big thing, is the dance of the dragons killed so many dragons that there were very few left. And the ones that were left, because the thing is, there were some left, but there was a religious uprising and they stormed it and killed a bunch of them. And that pretty much left nobody with any dragons. There were no dragons really left. There were a few, that, like, I just hate Targaryens. Let me do, to kind of give you, like, let me, this would be, no, that's Aegon the Third. That's Daeron, but Daeron was stupid. Like, quite literally, like, Aegon the Third, like, was like, yeah, I really hate everyone in I just kind of hate everything. Like, I just hate everything. All my friends are dead. Yeah, it's literally the last dragon happened and just he died. Yeah. Named Krieg in his hand, Hour of the Wolf. You know, it's like kill Tylan, Aegon attempted to recall Thetis, Rowan. He died. Yeah, it's like literally every single dragon died during the Dance with Dragon, except one, which just died. You know, he named his melancholy as he was blamed for the cause of the death of the last dragon. He attempted to use sorcery to hatch a clutch of dragon age, but proved not to be successful. He died of consumption, where led to Daeron literally marched into Dorne and everyone laughed at him. He dies. Like, Dorne's a weird one that has never been conquered by the crown. Baelor takes over, but Baelor's literally a saint. Viserys takes over. He's kind of a dick. Aegon the Fourth, even though he's like the 13th. Literally, this is the guy who causes every single thing to go wrong. And then you get some characters that are just irrelevant. Like, what's your history? He showed up. Pretty much, like, the most, like, Aegon the Fifth was like a major character. If you ever want to read, like, just a nice book, Sellsword, like, that's actually a very big thing. The actual, like, Hedge Knight series is very fun. It's just very simple, it's very to the point, very nice. Jaehaerys has his issues. Aerys II is where every single thing went wrong. Technically, Robert the First Baratheon takes over at this point, which led to, technically, technically, it would be Joffrey and then Tommen, but both of their reigns lasted less than a year, so I didn't put them in. Yeah. And according to, shouldn't the Targaryen's been overthrown within the moments of the dragons being killed? That was like one of the big things, is like, yeah, we can totally overthrow the Targaryens now, but there were still a lot of people loyal to them because they had married everybody. Like, that was a big thing. They had married everybody. And why the fuck were they? a lot, they like the kings after them were like really easy to exploit, and the ones that weren't easy to exploit were actually like good rulers by themselves. Like, that was the funny thing. Like, they had ruled for so long at that point. Like, because remember, this is 200 years at this point. Like, it was about 200, almost 300 years of Targaryen rule. Just to kind of put that in perspective a little bit. Name one dynasty in history that has ruled for over 200 years. Admittedly, not many dynasties had a literal fucking WMT in their pocket the entire time, but I digress. Let's... What do we want? We're going to, technically this is heading 2, so we can do heading 3. Personal, actually no, we'll call it personal development. Which we're going to do insert. What we can do is insert table. Technically, we just need to do something like skills. Skills. Actually, what we'll do is new benefit. We'll do new benefits. Payoff. Move drawback. Remove drawback. We'll put a footnote. Footnote. A subject. We'll do subject to subject to judge's approval. Judge's approval. Sorry. You're sorry. The character cannot buy off being. Yeah, it's kind of like you can't buy off the fact that you have dwarfism. Sorry, everybody. Destiny point. Okay, so double the next rank. Double the next rank in double the next rank. Rank 1. Actually, we do something like this. Do subtable. Do a subtable, so this would be rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we do something like this. We shrink it down quite a bit. Side. Be rank. Glory cost. Rank glory cost. Skill level. 0, 0 unskilled. 1, 2 novice. 3, 6. 2, 4. 3, 6. Skill 4, 8. Proficient 5, 10. Let's see. Double next. Each rank costs double the next. Each rank costs double the next value. Double the next costs double. Rank costs double, and And the character must purchase each in sequence. So it's kind of like the idea, like, you can't buy rank 1 if you don't have, you can't buy rank 2 if you don't have rank 1. That's pretty much what I'm trying to. If you don't have A, you cannot buy B. If you don't have this, you that. This, there we do. Foolish. Maybe we. One. We do 5. New benefits. New benefit cost. 10 glory. 10 glory. Remove drawback. 10 glory. Destiny point. 10 glory. Sword ascending. We do this. Table properties 0. Two. I mean, why don't we just do this then? I mean, if we're already going to be kind of dealing with that, why don't we just put the table, just put the table in there? Maybe bump up size a little bit. That looks really funky. That looks really fucking funky, and I don't know how to make it look better. Oh no! Why are you still here, Kofi? Why? Like, which one, ruled from the Capet dynasty, ruled for almost near 400 years. True, there's the Capet. What are you talking about? Anime 5e was a what was the bezel thing? Besem. B-E-S-M. Big eye, small mouth. It's an anime role-playing game. Hi, diddly homo. How are we going, boys? I'm late. Don't worry, I would say I was talking about Game of Thrones, but I was more seething about Game of Thrones. The more I read Game of Thrones, the less I like a Game of Thrones. Ptolemaic dynasty lasted almost 300 years. It's like, there were quite a few, but it's like one of those things, like, you can name the numbers of, like, dynasties on, like, one hand that's lasted that long. And the Targaryens are just comically stupid. I love them, but I hate them. Stefano, here's the thing with Stefano. The Stefano memeverse actually has a cool concept. There is a cool idea in there, and it is at least a unique idea. The problem with Stefano memeverse is very, very, very simple. It was a Cartoon Network show. I got Crash Course in Naruto's. It sounds like Game of Thrones. People constantly either backstabbing or being stupid. Yeah, that sounds right. Do not get Coffee bought a sub. Don't get Kofi bought a sub. Again, I don't know why today of all days, Kofi is like, you know what we need to do? Cool. Spoken, it was done. Even read the other 3 I bought at the same time. I read every single book in high school. No, don't. Why are you giving Kofi? Why are you giving Kofi goddamn sub? God damn it. Kofi. Man, people fucking. God fucking damn it. Oh, God. See, this is one of those things where you look at it, you're like, man, super cool, time for Kofi. People in my chat don't do productive things. Of course not. They give fucking gift subs to the bot. Pog. Lol, Lamau even. Hello, Dirty. God. Absolute. I'm working from home as we speak. So, let's see. Yeah, like, I read all the books in high school. I think that's one of the things that also shaped me. Is that, like, the fact that it was high school and the fact that it was, like, we need to have, like, I was being, like, edgy teenager and I was reading about the sex. And it's like, wait, so you read Game of Thrones in high school? How the fuck are you not fucked up? Lubu, where do you think we are? Do you know where we are? You know what I'm doing? Do you see all of this? It's a fucking scrub. That's fucking scrubs. Do you know where we are? No. It's generally speaking, Game of Thrones. I read Game of Thrones in high school because I'm like, I want to read a big book because I like reading big books. And Game of Thrones was one that I read. I bought the entire series. My friend stole my copy of A Feast for Crows, though A Feast for Crows fucking sucks. I said it. How are you not fucked up? He asks a male VTuber. I'll have you know that I am a sophisticated gentleman. There's a non-zero chance that I will be having to write a Blue Archive RPG, so don't you question anything from me. I've lost all sense of right or wrong a long time ago. Though, luckily for me, though, I am actually quite happy that let's I'm just gonna do a quick. It does look like there is quite a few. We've got quite a few votes for very special games. I don't think the Blue Archive game's gonna win at this point. Blue Archive? Cunny Archive? Read A Wheel of Time in high school. It was a fun book. I get the criticisms. Never read Wheel of Time. Everyone says you gotta read Wheel of Time. I'm like, no. Sorry, I only read real fantasy like Game of Thrones. God, I was so cringe. The only thing I do not question in here is Kofi Bot. Is he is sub now, and I can tell they're the real Kofi Bot. I fucking remember one of my one of the people in school. I read the Fall of Harvest, I think it was. Contact Harvest, that was it. Contact Harvest was good. I remember, I got memed. People were making fun of me at school because I read one of the Halo books or Contact Harvest because they thought I was reading like a manual for Halo. They thought I was literally reading like a manual for Halo. It's not a small book either, and it's pretty good. I never really got too big into Halo. I was more of a PS2 guy, more of a PlayStation. read Wheel of Time like 30 years ago. Yeah, like Wheel of Time, I never really got into. Never read any of the Harry Potter books. Yeah, never read Harry Potter. Just never. How do I want to word it? I never liked Harry Potter because my one friend really liked Harry Potter, and she ruined the entire book for me repeatedly by just being her. She was a very good friend, don't get me wrong. She's a very good friend. But she is fucking insufferable when it comes to Harry Potter bullshit. And I would just make fun of her for it all the time. That's all I would do. Because I'm a terrible friend. Let's see. Two to one. 2 to 1. 4 to 4. Actually, 4 would be 4 glory. 2 glory. Actual investment. I'm not gonna call it I'm gonna call it territory investment instead. No. Anything else? Yes. Some characters will survive stab wounds, murderous intrigues, and other terrible disasters, but sometimes it's no sword or quill that ends one's lifetime. Each year, old characters must make a target number 10 endurance trial. If they fail, they may burn destiny to avoid death. But eventually, they'll pass away in their sleep. Very old characters must make this trial every season at target number 12 endurance. At target number 12. Target number 12. All invested glory. All of the characters invested glory, not carried over next active character. There we go. There we go. Improvement, training, and death. I think that's pretty appropriate. How good? How good? Only very, very. Putting Harry Potter book in order is an interesting illustration of bloat as the series goes on. And with like hating it in 2020, like most diehard fans. I don't know. Like I haven't talked to her in years. She got kind of weird. Oh god, it sounds like one of my old D&D friends who's super into Critical Role, being from Georgia and Vermont and a few other things. When all the NPCs were updated with Harry Potter equal genocide patch, apostrophe bro. It's, the thing is, she was... Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna rewrite this section. I'm gonna make this sound a little. I'm gonna smash sound. I was really informal back in 2019 when I was writing. I would talk about like I would add second person a lot. So characters can survive stab wounds, murderous intrigue, and other terrible disasters. But sometimes it is no sword or quill that condemns one to death. Condemns one to death. Time. Every year, an old character must make a target number 10 endurance trial. If they fail, they may burn destiny to avoid death, but eventually they'll pass away in their sleep. Very old characters must make the same trial every season, increasing the target number to 12. If the judge wishes, they may forbid buying additional destiny. Buying additional destiny at this point. All the characters invested glory. Actually, all of a character's invested glory cannot be carried over to the player's next active character. They will need to develop on their own. You'll need to develop on their own. Hopefully with the wisdom of their forebears. Hey, characters can survive all these things. You can get fucking shot. You can die. Condemned one. That condemns one to death of their forebears. Of their wisdom of their forebears. Easy peasy. How many characters will realistically live long enough for this to matter? It kind of depends. It's one of those things like, if you don't add things like this, you will need to add it, kind of thing. Then I do put a point when we're dealing with like longer scale games where you can do time skips that might pass like a decade. And if your character is 60 years old, you're gonna need to make a shit ton of death saves effectively just to kind of avoid passing away. It's like, yeah, you're 65 in an era where things are really bad. Generally speaking, at like a decade, you'll be making 10 checks because you'll just do it every year. But if you are, say, for example, really old, if you're in your 80s and 10 years pass, you're going to be making a lot more than just 10. You're going to be rolling pretty consistently, and if you fuck up one, you're going to be burning destiny. What is the theoretical maximum age? Min-maxing endurance to live forever. Technically, you know what? Side note, the impossibly old, there may come a point where a character, let's see, where a character is reaching a place beyond their twilight years. They're reaching a place beyond their twilight years, as they have min-maxed heavily into endurance. While it is possible for lucky. Actually, you know what I can do? I want to let's see, very old characters. Mm. Mm. Increasing the TN. The TN by +1 for every year they manage to struggle through. Like, to give you an idea, like, very old characters are very fragile. Like, the very old character is going to have, let me see if I can find, you're about 71 to 80. Now, what I should add, you know what, just because of that, venerable. There we go. Venerable characters. Which since we added in the concept of being venerable, actually, I should add in being. There we go. Venerable character. Like, to give you an idea, at this point, a venerable character, if they lose all of their wounds, they just die. They have 0 fucking blood. It's entirely possible to just die. Actually, you know what? Add that. Add this. Zero blood, 0 composure. 0 blood, 0 composure. There is a non-zero chance that a character will have 0 blood or 0 composure. 0 blood or 0 composure. If this is the case, they are considered to be on death's door constantly. If either of their wounds, they will immediately capitulate if their wounds or willpower fault 0. There. Effectively, what this means is, if you have, like, a venerable character may have, if you really min-max, will have a grand total of 7 wounds. If you get stabbed with your 7 wounds, you go down immediately, are dead, and they can just kill you. It's very easy to kill you. Finally, if a character reaches their venerable years, the target number reaches their venerable years, the target number of the survival of target number increases to 15. Increases to 15. 15 as still may see. Target number 15 is incredibly fucking hard because it's just a 2d6 game at the end of the day. To give you an idea, that is hellish. You are making hellish checks at that point. There we go. Or the memes should really be saying living to 300 makes you biologically immortal, like those jellyfish turn themselves inside out. Just call age category Lazarus at that point. Gets insulted once, dies of a heart attack. I will repeat sentiment probably have said in the past, but it's still true. Halo 5 totally fucking slaps, and you should listen to the audiobooks if you can't. Won't read. I would like to get more into Halo, but apparently Halo Infinite is on suicide watch, so kind of hard to kind of be like, yeah, time to get into Halo now. Conflicts of blades and pen. Oh, Welcome to the conflict section. Here we hit 1. Normal text. Stories are filled with conflicts, whether by swords, pens, daggers in the dark. 2 or more characters come to blow, come to blow. A conflict occurs. Each using their skills, abilities, and resources to outwit, outplay, outmaneuver, maybe even emerge victorious. And outwit, outplay, outmaneuver, and defeat their opponent. Outwit him. Okay, so this is where things get a little bit wonky. So we need, where's the combat section? So this is probably the more developed system than this. So what I'm gonna do, go away Iceland. Iceland, because combat's kind of weird. Let's see, when two characters engage in conflict with swords drawn and bows cocked, combat begins. Okay. Let's see. When two characters engage in a conflict with one another, with swords drawn and bows cocked, combat begins. All involved characters will roll in ability. We'll roll an agility trial. Whoever scores the highest value will begin the combat. We'll begin combat. During a battle, there are 2 actions a character may perform: attacking or maneuvering. Combat's kind of simple in the game. I purposely made it pretty simple. Comes to attack a target, they will oppose fighting. Like, yeah, this is the entirety of the combat section. Combat was never really, like, big. That's the funny thing. Combat is not big. You would think it is, but it's not really. Attacking, when a character targets their and the character wishes to attack a target. When a character wishes to attack a target, they will roll in opposed fighting versus the defender's agility or fighting. Feeding. Let's see. Opposed fighting. Well, opposed fighting versus the defender's roll opposed fighting versus the defender's agility or fighting. If they are successful, they will deal fucking ass, she fucking slaps, feedings, feet, toes. Anyway, got a jet later, and sayonara. See, if I want to be more productive, if I want to make the big bank, what I should do is do what that one girl is doing, and just say like, ice cream so good, and make $10,000 a stream. Why don't I do that? Why don't I just give up and become an NPC streamer? Like, that bitch makes fucking money. It's like, oh, thank you for donating $5. Ice cream so good, yum yum, $8 billion. Gotta have tits for that. I mean, I'm fat enough, I could probably get away with it. Like, see, this is why I need a female VTuber model. See, if I get a female VTuber model, I don't even need real tits. I just need to be an anime girl doing it. Like, NPC anime girl talks to you like a fucking psychopath. Yeah, I didn't quite know what it was, but I had to look deeper into it today because my mother texted me about it. She's like, Notepad, what is this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm being like, I don't know what this is, Notepad. I'm scared of this. I don't like it. What is it? And I'm like, I don't know, because I've been hearing it. So I actually had to consult my e-boy. Like, I had to consult my my local e-boy for assistance. And my local e-boy did give me the proper answers I was looking for. And the proper answers I was looking for was finding out what the fuck NPC streamers is. NPC streamer. And I actually watched one. And I think it is like the culmination. Like the true, honest to God culmination of like the fucking Subway Surfer thing. Like, it's just that. Because if you really look at the way she does things, it's fascinating. Because it's not just, ice cream, so good, yum yum. No, because she's like doing like a clacking noise in one hand. She's putting on different hats. And she's like making popcorn as well as she's saying these things. It is the strangest thing ever. Like, my brain doesn't comprehend. My brain is like, Notepad, no, what are you doing? You're literally losing all the information about obscure anime, obscure tabletop role-playing games, and schizophrenic delusions. You're losing it all. I'm just like, but Subway Surfer? I don't understand. Oh, the Subway Surfer is here. Like, again, that's what it is. I'm fascinated by it. And I did propose to my friends that we should all just do the Oblivion NPC thing. Just make a TikTok of that. Make a glorious TikTok account of that. Your brain doesn't understand. You find yourself unbuttoning. You can't control it. No. See, I don't find like any of that stuff like attractive, because it's like she has an OnlyFans too. Like, that's something you gotta remember. She has her OnlyFans. Like, oh, okay. Like, is that it? Like, is that the ultimate secret? Is that like it's just to shill your OnlyFans? You should attack a target called a defender. They will roll a post-up versus the defender. If they are successful, they will deal attakers harm minus defender's armor to the defender's endurance or blood to the defender's endurance or blood. If the attacker actually, you know what? When an attacker wishes to strike a target, which is to strike the defender, which is to strike a defender. A defender, they will roll in opposed fighting versus the defender's agility or fighting skill. If they are successful, they will deal attackers harm minus defender's armor. To the defender's endurance or blood. If the attacker fails the attack, fails their attempt, they will fails their attempt, they have missed their strike, and pulls back. See, part of me wants to like overhaul combat, but another part of me doesn't know how to overhaul combat, because the entire concept of combat is you roll up, you kind of sussing out what they want to do, and you have an option of, do you go in for an attack, and then immediately, like saying, oh, you missed, you missed, reset, or do you go in for a maneuver? Maneuvers are literally everything else is a maneuver. Oh my god, both of you. This is not an ERP chat. No ERP. We are an ERP free zone. Save the erotic roleplay. Save the erotic roleplay for the dev chat. See, what I should do in the server is, in place for things, just create a channel that's unviewable to everybody. Just call ERP chat, and no one can see anything. No one can see anything in it, and just confuse the shit out of people. Just have the feeling that, wait a fucking second, is there an ERP channel here? Also, can a Noah get an invite to the server? I mean, let me check. So if you go to my channel, you see down there, if you scroll down a little bit, you see the White Room Discord. Just click on that. Like, just have no fear, everybody. You can kind of join whenever you want, unless they disabled all my permanent invites, which I would not be surprised if they did. Welcome aboard. We only have a few. Welcome aboard. We only have a few feds. What type of people do you attract? Yes, I attract human beings. Sometimes they are good, most times they are not. Do I add counterattacking into this game? Okay. Dev thinking with notepad and on. Effectively, what I was thinking is, if you go for an attack, it is a it's kind of a thing of like, I'm making an attack, we're both rolling and seeing who gets the attack off kind of thing. So it's like, I don't want to do an attack right off the bat unless I know I'm a better combatant than you. It's like, I know for a fact that I'm a better fighter than you, I can get the advantage and I can hurt you. So all the maneuvers are all about trying to build bonuses and such. To say like, hey, I have an advantageous position, or hey, I have a, I've delayed you long enough, like I've stunned you so you can't hurt me, kind of thing. But if you make an attack, whoever deals damage is the one who actually, you get what I mean? Like, whoever actually deals damage is the one who retaliates and is victorious and deals the damage. So if a shitty fighter attacks a very well-seasoned one, they're immediately going to just counterattack and slice your face open. Doesn't seem right. Something about that doesn't seem right. The game dev fears the riposte. See, the thing is, it's like, how do you implement that? Implement that well? Because I want things to be... Because one of the big ideas is things are supposed to feel pretty fast in combat. It's, you get into a fight, clank, clink, 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 someone gets the big hit off, and then someone's kind of, someone's moving back a little bit. It's like, oof, owie, zowie, I've been hurt. You add a momentum system and have it cost something. Fuck! I don't want to add a momentum system. I don't want to add meta currency to this. I'm already struggling with too much stuff. Well, I mean, if we go under the idea of... Well, because we already have saves with shields, which is a really weird idea, but the concept stands. Like, maybe we do... Because the idea with shields is that every single shield you have has a number of saves on it. Instead of shields like providing like damage reduction or anything like that, it's kind of the idea of the attack has gone through, like the attack is going to hit me and deal damage. I can burn one of my shield saves, have it hit the shield instead. But if it keeps repeatedly hitting the shield, then suddenly the shield's gonna break, or the shield just isn't useful anymore. It's not really blocking anything. Fucking bunch of splinters. Or it's like been clearly not, it's clearly no longer in a shape to be any useful. You can still carry it around, but it's not really gonna defend you at all. So it's kind of the difference between having like a big great sword or something is the great sword, the battle axe, and something like that. That's going to do a shit ton of damage, but you really don't have any way to defend yourself. You don't have that save outside of wearing heavy fucking armor. But that's the advantage of wearing really heavy armor, is you don't need a shield anymore, so you can have a big heavy weapon. You want to be absolutely protected. You have your big armor on, you have your big shield on, you have a fucking tiny weapon, and you just turtle up there. But you're not going to get hurt. The problem is wearing really heavy armor means you're going to take some big penalties to momentum, not momentum, to your maneuvers. Where getting your maneuvers are going to be things like, yeah, you're just going to get struck, you're going to get strike to stun every fucking turn. You can't really stun someone, but I hit you with the full wrath of my cool sword and it does 1 damage. And I'm like, I am a fucking tank. I am the problem. I have 8 endurance because I'm an unbeatable god, and you witness a god. Like, I don't want to be beat up, please. Please, I don't want to die. But then you do die because you're a little bitch. What would be another good, like... See, I would say it's the duels. The duel is, like... Even though, fun fact, Restis is really fucking good. I use that a lot for, I would say the hardest part, like the absolute hardest part to represent is, I would say this, kind of like this moment of like 2 dudes just kind of standing and looking at one another of like what, and like the kind of the clash of blades and go bing, 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 each of them kind of looking for a blow, looking for the hit. Kind of like this kind of trading blows kind of ideas. Because they're like, one of the big things is like the moment your wounds deplete, you are in a really bad space, because you get things like Slayer, for example. Like, the thing with Slayer that's really fucking scary is you can use Heart Piercer. If you reduce them to no wounds, you use Heart Piercer and you immediately kill them. They have no wounds. Like, you just say, oh, you have no wounds, you're at 2 blood, I'm gonna spend a destiny point and then immediately jam my blade into your fucking heart. Like, you are fucking dead. Why? Because I am a trained swordsman. I've spent a lot of time working on my swordsman work, and I've done that. But maybe you don't want to kill the person, because killing the person would be the worst possible outcome for you. Especially if there's someone you just don't want to kill outright. You can end it fast, of course, but maybe you don't want to. No, let's add retaliatory attacks. If the attacker fails, the defender will retaliate, dealing minus dealing attacker's armor. Retaliatory, the defender, the defender may choose to not retaliate. The defender may choose to not retaliate. If they wish. The defender may choose not to retaliate if they wish. There we go. There we go. I think that gives it a little bit more, I wouldn't say nuance, but it'll give it a little bit more to work with. Okay. We're attacking with straightforward intent to injure or harm an opponent. Maneuvers are you injure, maim, or kill it to kill an opponent. Maneuvers have the let's see. Attempt to avoid the direct blow. Avoid the conflict. Avoid the conflict directly. And focus on achieving an advantageous position, or debilitating their opponent, debilitating enemy, or debilitating enemy. So, if I change this to move, because I like. If I change everything to Mulet, how will that break things? Okay, good start. Everything's breaking. Okay, alright. We gaming. We are gaming. Everything is broken. Okay, alright. That's what I like to see. I like to see it when things are broken. Going to do. Plato, nothing breaks. Cool. So let's not do that. And let's keep everything fine. Let's keep everything from breaking horrifically. That's what I like to see. So we want to do what maneuvers? What maneuvers do I have, basically? So let's check this. Go away, Landsknecht. Like you, Landsknecht. We don't know that much. So dodge. So actually, we want to do. Maybe we do table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's add 6. Something like this. Maybe we do. We do this. We cut out. Cut out something like this, allowing me to. Mm. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna write a lot more. We're gonna write stuff. Okay, kids? We're gonna write stuff. That's what we fucking... Then. No, we don't need any of you. Did I add anything in here? No. Mm. Okay, so let's do... We want to add a column below. We want to add in the knockdown. That's going to be athletics or endurance. Mm. 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 That's armor. Okay, actually, in let's see. Until next turn, if they are in heavy armor, it takes one action to stand back up. And we do low. We do trip up. What do we do? Trip. Actually, we'll try to do disarm, which is going to be fighting. It's going to be agility. It's going to be agility or fighting. They take a -2, attempt to -2 to the maneuver. Actually. Maneuver, skill, penalty discretion, something like this. Skill penalty, there's gonna be no penalty, like 0 penalty. Gonna be a -2, -2. Oh gosh, so little space. I do something like maybe. Actually, maybe if we make this, if we do 1, what do we do with 1.2? We do 1.2, but then reduce you to 3, 7, 5. Can we reduce you to 0.8? We reduce you just to 3. We have a little bit of room. We can add in more penalties. Stunning strike. Stunning. Tell me more about stunning strike. So if we do that, character attempts to stun their opponent. If successful, they cannot retaliate against the next attack. I mean, if we do 0, like there's no penalty. Then we do terrain, which is 0. We go over here. Character uses terrain with a benefit. Character uses terrain to their benefit. Exploit something nearby. Heal, but we work with it. I didn't mean to click that. Fuck. Lato, because I like Lato. Terrain's kind of like a universal one, but it's kind of like the, yeah, you do something. Like, you do a fucking action. Like, please just do something. Like, that's kind of the idea there. Do that. We do this. We do 0. I'm gonna actually put variables here. Precision 0. Game plus actually, they cannot retaliate. There we go. If we do something like this, let's bump this up to 10. Can we bump you 10? Actually, we can bump you down to 8. Take everything here. We do table properties. Make you a little thinner. Maybe we do put everything there. What would be some other good... What would be some other good maneuvers to put in? How do you feel about grid-based inventory management? Could be interesting. The thing is, it could be interesting. You would need to, like, there's one issue with it. There's one very important issue with it. And that very important issue is very, very, very simple. You need to have players who are, 1, diligent with inventory, and 2, you must have a grid of some variety. That doesn't seem like a big deal. It's like, oh, we'll just put a grid in it. But that suddenly takes up a lot of space on a character sheet. If you want to put it on a character sheet. If you want to put it on, say, I don't know, like its own independent thing, that is now a separate thing you have to manage. That is a separate table. That is a separate idea entirely that you are now kind of having to manage. Some people are going to vibe with that. Some people are going to fucking despise it. I would be on the camp of despising it. Very simply because I like having everything kind of like in front of me. And having to like manage like a different little thing would kind of annoy me a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, so it's like, if you're holding firm, you're not retaliating kind of thing. Like, you're very much not doing that. Focus. This is agility 0. They re-roll their initiative. Re-seize the initiative. They re-roll. They re-roll their initial, let's see, re-roll their initial agility trial. Agility trial, try taking the highest result. Let's see, what would be another good one to add? Actually, what I can do is prepares a blow against the next opponent to strike them. Both will roll. Actually, let's strike some. They gain +2. They gain +2 to their they gain +2 to their defense. Actually, no. We'll do character mentally prepares themselves. The next opponent to attack the, let's see, the next opponent to attack the character immediately hits, but also immediately suffers a retaliatory attack. After uncaring strike, the entire idea of the uncaring strike is you're gonna hit me, but I'm gonna hit you immediately afterwards. So if you're in insanely heavy armor, just uncaring strike. How much would you charge to finish up that Fate RPG you have on the website? Lonely Dance? Lonely Dance is in a weird state of being. The thing with Lonely Dance is, by sheer technicality, it's finished. I've actually redone it. Like, the issue with Lonely Dance is that was an attempt to, like, make a game with Fate. No, literally, there is a Noble Phantasm mechanic, and the Noble Phantasm mechanic is that there are none because you physically can't do it. The literal Noble Phantasm mechanic is come up with it yourself, not my problem. That is literally the rules. Because one of the issues with Noble Phantasm Starter, one of the issues with it is that there is zero consistency in it. There is zero consistency. Because you will have some motherfucker's Noble Phantasm being like, let me summon an entire new world unto itself with all of my millions of friends that I've made along the way, because the real because the real Holy Grail war were the friends we made along the way. And you get another motherfuckers who's like, what's your noble phantasm? I can die. Oh, what's your real noble phantasm? My noble phantasm is that I can hit you twice. Like, one of my blows isn't real, but I can hit you twice. I'm like, wow, cool, fake assassin. Super cool, assassin. You're so fucking lame. Like, that's kind of like, that's kind of the issue with noble phantasms. Is like, my noble phantasm is whatever I feel like it to be. And that is like, yeah, to be fair, those 3 attacks were literally unblockable. That's kind of one of the issues with like phantasms are that they're, for every phantasm that's like, yes, King, Artoria's fucking noble phantasm is a giant death sword. She is when she draws fucking Excalibur, she immediately wins because it's a giant death blade. Awesome. Super powerful. When Gilgamesh brings out Ea, he literally just wins. Because what's Gilgamesh's noble phantasm? Every noble phantasm! Except not really, because he can just use Ea, which just wins. But he doesn't use Ea because he's prideful and doesn't want to just win everything. Like, that's the hardest part about putting in noble phantasms. Excalibur and Ea. Yeah, that's also one of the problems, is Fate is a story written by someone, if that makes sense. Like, Excalibur doesn't win. Fucking Artoria does not use Excalibur immediately every time to win every single fight because that's stupid. And there is a story reason why she can't. Shiro is an idiot. Kitsurugu doesn't want to reveal things. Cool. Why doesn't Gilgamesh use Ea immediately upon fighting anyone? Because he's a prideful jackass and because he doesn't want to. And it's like, if you're a player, if you were a player and you have the ultimate power to win a fight, wouldn't you use it? Because that's the ultimate power to win every fight. Players are a hell of a lot smarter than a writer, but I was going to make it so that the standard effect is to auto win a contest by 5, and it does some other shit. Like, that's kind of, yeah, you can probably do stuff like that when you pop Noble Phantasm. I deliberately kept it open because there are some Noble Phantasms which fundamentally aren't attacks. They are just effects that occur. Because you get things like Hercules, for example, or Bazaka. Berserker's Noble Phantasm is his 12 trials. It's that he can be killed 12 times before he is actually killed. And it takes a shit ton to do it. And that's like an entire thing. It kind of reminds me of why making a JoJo RPG is really hard. Because it's for every, like, I have the power to bet, like, what's your stand do? My stand, like my stand breaks your cock. That's my stand power. I break your cock. Okay, what do you do in that? Well, I use my cock breaking power to distract someone. It's just like, you're just gonna use cock break and just win everything. It's like, god fucking damn it. If I were to write, the thing is, if I were to write a Fate game, like now, given all this years of experience, all of my broken willpower, I would have to rewrite it kind of from the ground up. Still using my very basic premise, though. Most likely what I would end up doing is rewriting it using the Serenyeho Shuffle. Just the concept of, this is still Fate, still uses it, but we are using a very particular Grail War in a very particular set of mechanics, in a very particular set of ideas. This is a different reality, or this is a different timeline or whatever. This is what we're doing. This is not the Yuki Grail War. This is not the fucking Great Holy Grail War. This is not one of the stupid fake ones. It's not one of the stupid fucking fake ones or whatever. That would be kind of the idea, is like we are building you're building a Grail War with a very particular set of mechanics, with a very particular set of ideas, and like what does a actual Noble Phantasm do? Noble Phantasms are incredibly difficult to pull off. You define what the hell it is, but you need to build up energy to do it. You can't bust out your fucking super weapon every time, but you have to build up power to get it. You need to take place, to do things, you need to have things, to build it up, to use your use your super cool, Noble Phantasm. That's kind of the idea. Because that's the setting of that's the setting we're working with. Those are the mechanics that we are now implementing. I think one of the issues with Fate Random Dance was I tried to make it so that it was every single Fate property at once, with the accommodations of you can also run you can run Grand Order just as much as you can run a Fuyuki War, just as much as you can run one of the fake wars, just as much as you can run your own war. I think that was kind of one of the issues with that game. Again, and if I were to rewrite it, probably wouldn't make it diceless. Like, that's one of the things. I don't think I would make it diceless. Do I stand by my diceless point? Hell yes. I stand by the reason why I made it diceless entirely, because of just the power levels I was working with. If I were to rework it, I probably wouldn't make it diceless, but it would be it would be a very abstract system. Let's just say that. What is the point of Fate? Well, I mean, if you're looking at the concept of fate itself, fate and destiny and all that shit really informs the actions of human beings and the reasons that we pursue certain actions. It's destiny that I do, that's fate I do, that's situation arrives and we assign it more of a metaphysical concept. The point of the Fate franchise is to make money. Money! Money, money, money! Money! Woo-hoo! That's the reason. It's to make money. That's the only reason. It's to make a shit ton of money. Money! Money! I'm making money! Money, money, money! Anime. Just the franchise. That's what I'm talking about. The franchise is designed to make money. And it's been very successful at that. Like, you gotta remember, like, every single thing that Hype Moon has done in the past few years has been funded off of Grand Order. And Grand Order is still pumping in good money recently. I think it's slowed down. Let's see. Grand Order. Like, currently, as of 2022, it has exceeded 6.3 billion United States dollars. It's one of those things, like, it's made a really good amount of money. It is slowing down slightly, so I wouldn't be surprised we see a new Fate gacha pop up of the story. What's the difference between Type Moon and Fate? Fate is a franchise of Type Moon. That's kind of the way to think about it. It's kind of like Hasbro has it, Transformers is a franchise of Hasbro. Type Moon, Fate is a franchise of Type Moon. That's kind of the idea. If you want to be a little bit more specific, Type Moon is the entire universe, while Fate is a part of that universe. Tsukihime, Kero no Kyokai, a bunch of different franchises they have technically are all in the same universe. They all exist at the same time, at the same moment. Hence why games like Melty Blood exist, even though Blood's dumb. Melty Blood's fucking stupid. But I love it. But yeah, generally, oh yeah, like there's a Muso game coming out. Like that was always kind of the ish thing with Grand Order, and that's like if you really pay attention to a lot of gacha games, a lot of the thing with the gacha games is that they do the gacha to fund something else. Here's a gacha game for Tanament Asagi. You do the gacha game for that so you can fund future Tanament games. Hey, here's a gacha game for Grand Blue Fantasy. You make that to make more Grand Blue Fantasy games down the line. Why they made a fighting game? No fucking clue. Don't think about it. I would say the same would be for things such as, what's that gacha game that everyone plays that's Breath of the Wild, but not, Genshin Impact. Games like Genshin Impact are a little bit different because they already kind of have a game, but like, Genshin Impact is going to want to make a shit ton of money to fund a future game, to fund the next thing, because that's the point of the company. That's the point of those. If you ever see those gacha games that seem like a little bit weird using a franchise you like, it's to fund the next thing. Fire Emblem, that's a really good example. Fire Emblem, not, what was it? Fates? No, it's, what was the new Fire Emblem game? It was Fire Emblem, Engage, that's it. Fire Emblem Engage. I will make a wild guesstimate that Fire Emblem Engage was mostly funded by the Fire Emblem gacha. Because there's a Fire Emblem mobile gacha game that makes a shit ton of money. That's what it was funded by. It's kind of one of the things like you put out the gacha to make the money to fund the other thing. And it's kind of a circular thing as well, because what you can do is you make money from the gacha to fund the next thing, to get more things in the gacha to make more money to fund the next thing more. It's a cycle. Everyone makes a shit ton of money and everyone's happy. Like Fate wasn't like a mega franchise really before Grand Order came out. It's Grand Order really spiked the. I would say Fate Zero really made it kind of like bigger, but Grand Order is what really started bringing in the fucking money. Grand Order is what started pumping money for the franchise a lot. What are you checking? We are checking, well, I'm trying to think of another, like a few more like maneuvers to do in combat, but I can't think of any. Because I'm stupid and because I'm a fucking idiot. Nothing's really sounds right, if that makes sense. Like, what do you do in like a melee combat or a like actually, that's a good one. Charge, So if you have if you have 0 agility, I feel like you're not really going to be charging anyone. But if you have agility like 2, you rush with someone within about 4-ish meters. Attacking, maneuvering. Each character will descend in order, taking actions to defeat their enemies. After all characters have acted, the round has ended. Taking actions to defeat their enemy. Taking a turn, which is action to defeat the enemy. Taking a turn, capital T. During battle, there are 2 actions a character may perform: attacking or maneuvering. I feel like there should be one more maneuver, and I feel very comfortable. What are you looking for specifically? I don't know, because we can disarm somebody, we can dodge somebody. We're focusing on dodging, we can knock someone down. We're performing kind of any other action. I like putting other as an action type in these games because it gives players a little bit more like, oh, I can do something else. I want to add a plus D6 to my next trial, but I can't retaliate. The character cannot retaliate. I'm going to say stun. They cannot retaliate against the next attack. So it's like, I stun you. You can defend yourself, but you can't really attack. It's pretty much like you're just defending yourself, and you're kind of susceptible if you get bonked on the head too hard. Bad range bands shouldn't. From another character. Let's see, there are 5 ranges a character may be from another character or feature of the battlefield. Which is going to be actually space distance, where are you? Hello, space distance. We're going to do touch, melee, ranged, bar. From an touch, melee, ranged. Actually, touch, melee, long ranged, sight. Touch is within arm's length, allowing the character can clearly touch, interact or deal with any target at this range while larger weapons struggle to manage. Melee is the ideal distance between two fighters with proper arms. Long is for shafted weapons or other distance fighters, including rangers. Ranged is ideal locations for combat archer or combat rangers, as well as those seeking to flee their opponent. Sight, finally, sight is sight is managing to just see the target, but attacking is nearly impossible. And difficult and quite difficult for those without a quite difficult for those with a. So it's a little bit simple when it comes to range category, but move toward a target, increasing the range by see, they may So pretty much like move and strike is you're fighting someone, you're keeping your distance from them. Hey, I have a sword and board, you have a spear, you can poke at me and I can't really get to you. If you keep backing up, you keep poking me from a distance, it's hard for me to retaliate at that point. So if you're a really talented fighter with a spear, you're just going to be moving and striking all the time. But if certain spear techniques actually allow you to deal damage even when you're doing things that normally wouldn't, because you're just that fucking talented with a spear. Riposte, stud, disarm, deflect, feint, pocket sand, destruct, disorient, cripple, train. Maiming is already a thing, don't worry about that. Actually, so moving, we want to do that. Range band. That's just something I have to make a note of when I'm going back up above. Yeah, alright. Cool. So that means go to arms and armor. So we go. I think I changed how arms and armor actually. Let's have Range weapons roll number d6s for damage instead of adding a flat value. So what I can do actually, this arms and armor, we 3, rarely do men go into battle. Roll number D. See, I need to fix some of the. I will need to fix some of these. But for right now, this will do fine. For what I want, because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to have to adapt a lot of these weapons over. That's a kind of a big thing, because I actually cut down a lot of the weapons in this, and because Vikings didn't really have thin blades, they didn't have like rapiers and stuff, so I didn't really add those in at all. Because why would I add something in that was like, that's just not, they just didn't have those. That wasn't a thing back then. But I can probably split these up if I want to be really specific. What I should do that and remove that, and then have thin blades. I could probably call them sabers and get away with it a little. And let's flip here. Flip here. Saber. There we go. I could probably add some more weapons, but the idea here still stands. What actually, do I have crossbows? Do I don't have crossbows. Crossbow, we'll do crossbow, which is going to do 5d6. Pierce value is going to be 2. Reload is going to be 2. Yeah, getting hit by a crossbow fucking hurts, fun fact. Oh shit, KofiBot, new friend. Yes, KofiBot is new friend. Again, I'm gonna give you all a super secret about getting shot with a fucking crossbow. It hurts and you die. I will probably need to go through here and add in more weapons and stuff just to kind of bring it out, because like these are very simplistic weapons, but that's on purpose slightly. Want to do again, I can probably keep everything to be like the exact same pretty much. I don't really need to worry too much about things like that. I also split it up like 7 to 8 or anything like that, because I don't really know what kind of weapon, like what you're going to be really using. So it's like, yeah, these are just roughly. Let's see. And Pierce value harms the number of damage done when then connects, while Pierce value is amount of target's armor value is reduced before the damage is finalized. We're gonna rewrite this entire section at a later date. I'm just gonna put that right there. And we're just not going to deal with it. When it moves away from like the drink heavily. Here's about why didn't they ever pull cord? Have pull cord on the ball string? What? Nani? No, I do have my beer here. I've been drinking my coffee. However, my coffee is done. Good news, everybody. Coffee is done. Why didn't they ever have a pull cord on the bowstring? I don't know. I'm not a fucking medieval expert. I'm some jackass writing a game. Let's see. What we can. So maybe we do. Arms, paragraph styles, borders, headings, border width, Harry, 0. Actually, we need to bring that up to like 4 for this. Border width, 1. Quintessential. Quintessential. I quite literally have never used heading 4, so I need or 20, so we need to bump you up 15. Armaments, we're going to turn you from gray to black because I like the black. Keep you like that up. Match. That's we understand what's going on there because then we can add in heading 4. Armor shields. Go. Armor ranges from 0 to 8 damage reduction. Armor ranges from 0 to 8 protection. Protection, which acts as damage reduction. Which acts as the amount of damage reduced. Acts as the amount of damage reduced from any attack. And a maneuver penalty. From a maneuver penalty, which reduces the character's chances when they attempt a maneuver in combat. Various types of Plato. Shields are a method to prevent damage at the cost of a maneuver penalty, depending on the size. All blocks are used. The character may abandon the shield. We do that. I could probably add more things to shields, but again, that's not. Actually, have the kill. Yeah, this is the Killdozer note. A very important note. Plate armor plate wearing knight is scary because every strike against a small number of their wounds, they are titans of the field. While they won't be doing creative tricks, to them, smashing your head in is the. Yeah, pretty much a super heavily armored knight is very difficult to hurt. Very difficult. Is that the same for any AoE or magical attack? Pretty much, yeah. Magic in this system isn't really like combat oriented. Like that's the thing. You know what? That kind of reminds me. Attempts to cast a spell during the midst of combat. They will prepare. Let's see. Prepare their spell until the next turn. Until the next turn when it will fire. Until then, they are helpless. They are helpless in combat. They are considered helpless. And can be automatically hit with weapons. With melee weapons. Let's see. And a basic TN it would be 7 basic TN 7 trial for actually you would say TN 5. Like, quite literally, the thing with, if you're using fucking magic, you need to be protected. You are going to not be casting magic in any other bullshit situation. You're going to be using magic away from the problem. You don't use magic in combat. Shit's scary. You will get hurt. Because they'll just run up to you and stab you to death. But I didn't want magic to be that important. That makes sense. Probably copy here, which 3 boons and unnamed characters. When blood reaches 0, the character is considered helpless to defend themselves. And the may decide their fate. We're going to 3, which means we're going to do heading to the right. We're going to do that. You are unconscious, maimed, death. Being not character. Let's see. The character is knocked out, and taken out of the fight. A limb is damaged, and a drawback is assigned, corresponding to which limb or body part was injured. If I want to be really specific, what I can do is oh, lesser maiming. I'm getting a phone call. Okay, sorry. Had to get some proper horrific injuries. So we do unconscious, injury, maiming, and death. So if we do we make a bad Deus Ex reference. So would there be any draw aggro or summon familiars in a 1 or per 2-person game, just in case I want to play a spellcaster? Don't you aiming for the system make a... Let's see, so would there be a way to draw aggro or summon familiars in a 1 or 2-person game, in case someone wants to play a spellcaster? Also, I don't know what you're aiming for the system you're making, so I apologize, questions are stupid. if you want to play a character like that, you can. You would pretty much be... Effectively, what you would be doing is summoning these guys to fight for you. They're not really that... They're not really dangerous, per se. This is much more of a social game. Like, a 1 or 2 person game for BCS is a lot more about... How do I want to word it? You are a lot trying to kind of play the bigger game at that point. You don't want to get into combat. If you do get into combat, you bring Brick McShithead over here, who is a 8.5 foot tall giant of a man who has fallen madly in love with you because you keep doing an intrigue on him and he keeps losing because he's stupid. And yeah, he's going to be able to mop the floor with just about any character as long as he's not overwhelmed horribly. Or again, it's one of those things, you bring in a bunch of guys. It's like, oh boy, there's an assassin who wants to kill you. Oh no, he's jumped behind the corner. Ooga booga, ooga booga, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And it's like, yeah, man, that really sucks that, you know, my good friend Brick McShithouse isn't here to grab your skull and smash it. Being like, what does he want? He likes it when I give him rabbits because he's a big stupid idiot. This is much more of a social game, not necessarily like a combat game. Like, playing a magician does mean that you have a very different way of approaching things. Like, actually, they gain the MAME to drop. They gain the MAME and good. There's not more lingual drawbacks. They gain the we'll say they gain crippled or okay, so yeah, getting maimed means you lose a lip. You lose a fucking lip. Injury just means like you lose that, but you can possibly get it fixed. Let's see. Characters killed in the field of battle would rot. Destiny can decrease severity by each time it is used, even though I think that their choice went through. For example, not getting for example, the character isn't outright killed, but having their face slashed open, while avoiding horrific maiming, but they'll just collapse in a heap of pain. Okay, so join the stream. First thing I hear was Ooga Booga, I'm gonna kill you. Didn't maim the top right first set. Did I? Well, probably. Yeah, no, I was making an example of someone trying to kill someone else. Like, combat in this game is very quick, and I always wanted it to, mostly because it is entirely possible. Because when you reach 0 wounds, there are talents and there are benefits that you can take that will instantly kill you. If somebody says, hey, I have this talent, you are at 0 wounds, I am just going to chop you in half because I'm an Axeman. I'm going to kill you. You know, I'm immediately going to inflict the consequence of death upon you. You are going to die. You're out of the fight already. You lose. You're like, damn, how does this happen? I've lost. I'm dead. Yeah, because you fought someone who, you fought Ragnar Murderfucker. Like, that man is a giant evil barbarian murderfucker. Why did you think you could fight him? Well, I'm a trained knight of the realm. Yeah, you got your ass kicked. And you're dead. Don't fight him. But you can also say, hey, fuck that. I'm gonna bully him with my friends. We're gonna gang up on him, or say, hey, we just don't want to fight to begin with. Like, why are we here? Why are we fighting this dude? He's a big, scary motherfucker who wants to eat my face. I don't want to fight, murderfucker. Being like, how can we get around this? Being like, why don't you gang up on him? Why don't you use those horses you brought and just ride him down? What are you gonna do, barbarian man? Nothing. You're going to die because you're dumb and don't have a horse. Everybody laugh at him because he's a dumb barbarian without a horse. Technically, 7. Technically, this we do. This we do. This. So, unnamed character difficulty of 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Technically we can do like this. Untrained soldiers and peasants plus 0. Average guards. Like, the thing is, like, people aren't strictly, there are not many good fighters in the world. Like, why would there be? Like, I'm a farmer by trade. I farm things. I don't want to fight people. Fighting people is scary and I could die. No one wants to die. I think the most important thing in just like anytime you want to run like a realistic game, this is important. Anytime you want to run, like I want to run a game about, fantasy and how everyone is very realistic and very mudcore, you wouldn't understand. Always remember the key fact of life. Not a single character, not a single person in this beautiful world of ours wants to die. And they'll do shit to prevent them from dying. Hey, I don't want to die. I'm not going to fight. Like, I'm going to run away from someone, who is threatening to kill me. Or, hey, this person is clearly a better fighter than me in every single possible capacity. I don't want to fight them. No. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight them. I want to run away now. UCs are driven by actually depending on the setting and situation, the unnamed characters can be anything from wolves, aliens, or even regular dirt farming, or regular dirt farmers. The most important thing to remember is that most living thing. living things want to continue living. If multiple UCs are cut down, they will make a, let's see, multiple UCs are cut down, have the PCs, have the characters roll 2d6 versus, let's see, 2d6. Actually, have the characters make a trial versus the actually make a trial. Trial versus against the use difficulty. If they succeed, UCs flee the field in terror. Add a bonus of +1, 2, of +2, 3, +5 in extenuate if the situation ends. It's kind of like not even really specific of what kind of trial you have to make. Just like just roll 2d6 and be like, do you beat them? Like, yeah, they're gonna fucking run. They don't want to die. No one wants to die, so they're going to run away. Let's actually this a major antagonist should be created similar to a character. Let's see. Major antagonist should be created similar to a character, possibly with additional experience to represent their devious nature. Make a full antagonistic household, only assign attributes to major players of the house. For example, House Lord as a direct heir may have character sheet, but the Lord of the House would. Yep. Here, yeah, the combat situations and bonus rule. Why are you? Okay, so here we hit that button. 3. Welcome to the bonus rules section. Just bonus rules. Or you can be a spellcaster, then lose a child with a butter spoon. Well, yeah, it's just like, most characters should be relatively competent in a fight. Like, it's not hard to be competent in a fight. It's like, as a spellcaster, it's like, oh man, I'm using the power of magic, and like, oh no, a child has come up with me with a knife. Luckily, I have, I'm an adult, and wait a second, I'm an adult, and I have a sword. I'm just gonna I have a staff. I'm just gonna beat this child to death real fast. I will stop you, evil wizard! Oh yeah, you are. Bam! Bam! Yeah, just be it like, it's not like you're completely fucking helpless. I want to save the day. Sure you do, kid. Bang! Yeah, it's just like, use your advantages, and we're like, yeah, hey, giant man who I have in my service, just kill the fucking kid. Just beat the shit out of this kid. He's like, alright, and just BAM! Flying fist of fury, breaks nose, everyone starts crying, it's funny. Let's see, fighting 2 or more There we go. Endurance turn. So it's like, yeah, you get maimed immediately. You have 0 endurance. Yeah, you're not, like, you're gonna start bleeding out. There we go. Yeah, I might fix these up. I might kind of like formalize some of these. Don't quite know yet. God, fucking intrigue. Generally speaking, I should be able to just kind of put things in like almost 1 for 1. The only difficult part would be this. Like, if I really want to do this just really fast and dirty, like... Actually, do I fix intrigues up in this one? I want to do... So if I do things like, if I'm doing things correctly, if I do this, change everything to Leto, we do you heading 2. Technically what I can do is set everything here to 8. No, we need to set everything to 10, not 19, 10. Very different. Go away, Macbeth, I don't need you yet. Intrigue, and then you would be heading 3, which we assign as heading 3. Disposition would be heading 3. Techniques would be heading 3. Example intrigue, we need to sub out the example intrigue for this one. Actually, no, it'd be argument and counter argument. That's, I remember I changed that because dumb the way I had it before. I was just dumb before. So actually, if we do 3 into 3, because plots and schemes are kind of their own thing. Like, this is effectively advanced intrigues. Actually, I could probably make these 2. No, make these 3 because they are part of the intrigue. Like, they are part of intrigue. They're just a little bit different. We do that, techniques, and then we go into plots and schemes, and then we immediately go into... Ato. Yep. Borrowing more taxes. Want to be add you, like, these are going to need to be fixed. Like, already I know for a fact they need to be fixed. What I'm doing is just adding these in here right now, because what I can do is set everything correctly. So if everything is set correctly, I won't need to worry about it as much. Because they're a little bit obtuse. Fun fact about this, though. Very fun fact. This entire section is almost entirely just barbarians of Lemuria's combat. This entire section is quite literally pretty much just barbarians of Lemuria. You know, they're very basic. This is just its combat system. I'm not gonna lie. This is just their combat system, their mass battle system, because Barbarians of Lemuria's mass battle system is fucking perfect. New battle, heroes involvement. I could probably fix this up and be a little bit more precise with it, but I don't really to. Okay. So, cleaning this up, that's not going to be too difficult to do. Awesome drunk storytelling. I mean, your last one had everything. Children, child violence, child abuse, spoons, all the good shit. Hey, I try not to be violent, but I'm a drinker. I'm a drinker. I'm a lover. I'm a low down hero. See, if I want to be really specific, what I can do is use the battle in progress system, I guess. Use BIP. I might adapt a BIP to this. That might not be the worst idea I've ever done. Yeah, then we started getting more of the specifics. Okay, so I'm going to call it here today. On Friday, we are going to sit down and we are just going to do the entirety of this. I have my goal really is I want to get the noble houses. I want the noble houses to be done. I want to do merchant families. I want to do merchant families. I want to do free companies. I think free companies would be fun. Because that kind of gives a different one. Probably not clans. I might add raiding as like a side mechanic. Probably not bandit groups. Probably not that. We're gonna have to probably start adding things like Blue Bloods, merchant families. Like these will probably get integrated into their particular section. But like a lot of these are very particular. Like family man, generational play, that's gonna have to get put in there eventually. Most of this is pretty easy just to set in, hence why you get characters like my favorite character, various children stuff. Children stuff is a bitch. Bastards will probably end up taking the same idea. Bracallos will just... Like, most of these things can probably be ported over one for one. I don't really need to worry about things too much. Probably not going to put in the market. Magic will get put in there because I feel magic is important. Casting spells, you know, that'll get in there. Animal companions might get put in there. Might. Really. Technically, this is the thing. By sheer technicality, you can play an animal. I made this as a purpose. I made it in the original Game of Thrones rules as kind of like a side thing, being like, if you really need just to hop in a character real fast, you can play someone's dog. Or you can play like a dire wolf. it's a little bit more important where it's like, yeah, I want to play a fucking direwolf. But yeah, by sheer technicality, you can play a cat in this game. If you want to play a cat, you can just play a literal actual cat. I mean, it's a big cat, but you can play a cat with all of the associated issues. Yeah, how do I entry? Because I'm in handle cutting for his complex and deception, keeping secrets or quiet when it shouldn't, pretending to do nothing wrong. There's something obviously amiss for sleeping while fully awake. The show, like, yeah. Everyone can take various animal benefits. You have things like Mummer. Like, Mummer isn't in there. Mummer got changed, I believe. Anyway. So, various narrator notes. Like, this is, like, the bottom half of this game really is, like, might add in, animals, I might not. Might double check to see through, like... But yeah, probably merchant families, companies, and, sellswords. I think those will be probably the 3 that get put in pretty easily. Because I think those are pretty fun. I might... If I'm feeling very daring, I might put in the Night's Watch, the castle, like pretty much just a castle company, but I might integrate that kind of like the sellswords and stuff like that. Kind of more along the idea of like, you're not really generationally speaking like that. It's more generationally speaking is, and you're constantly getting a new cycle of guys every time. But that's kind of depending on the situation. But I'm gonna call it there because I'm streaming for 3.5 hours and I need to rest my voice. Because I'm going to do things tonight. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Godspeed, good luck. I will see you all on Friday, most likely. Tomorrow, I am going to be working on the meta currency. I'm going to be working on the meta currency video tomorrow. Friday is going to be probably a very late stream because I am going to an anime convention this weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I like anime conventions. Because I like cons in general. It's going to be fun. So, thank you all. Godspeed. Good luck. I will see you all on the flip side.